Hey everyone, it's Mark Skipper Mark, and today we are at the Queen of the American Lakes, Lake George in the Adirondacks in New York. However, before we could launch, the state of New York and the Lake George Park Commission requires boaters to do a few things. First, we had to get our boat inspected to make sure we weren't bringing any invasive species to the lake. This can be done at the Adirondacks Welcome Center just past exit 17 on I-87 North, or at one of several other locations which I've linked to below. We stopped at the Welcome Center, but it was closed, maybe because it's not peak season yet. We ended up going to Million Dollar Beach for the inspection since that's where we were launching from, and they had us run the motors for a couple seconds to make sure there was no water in them. They asked when and where we had last boated and had us take the seats off to make sure there was no water in the hull. In addition to the inspection, any vessel over 10 horsepower must register with the Lake George Park Commission. The cost is $12 for a day, $20 for a week, or $40 or more for a year, depending on the type and size of the vessel. The lake is about 30 miles long and 3 miles wide. We're not exactly sure where we're going to go, but we'd like to go all the way to the northern end, which is the town of Ticonderoga. It's really pretty down there. We're currently at Million Dollar Beach, which is at the southern end of the lake. That's where the main boat ramp is. This is also the touristy area where everybody goes. About 10 miles from the launch is the Sagamore Resort, an iconic hotel on Lake George since 1883. After admiring the beautiful architecture of the resort, we put the throttle down and headed to the Glen Ranger Island Station, a quick 2.5 miles away. The Ranger Station is where you check in if you're camping on one of the public islands, plus they have a store with all kinds of camping goodies in case you ran out or forgot something at home. Matt and I hung out on our WaveRunners while Nancy ran in to see if they had any food, and sure enough, she came back with a delicious-looking turkey grinder. We docked our WaveRunners and ate our food while watching some fish swimming around the docks. There were a lot of reflections on the water, so I put my Oakley polarized sunglasses over the lens, and it did a great job of cutting down on the reflections. Eventually, we said farewell to the island and headed over to Paradise Cove, one of the prettiest and most restrictive coves on the lake. Hidden behind these trees is Paradise Cove, a gorgeous area that's secluded from the main lake, but because of that, it draws huge crowds. Earlier, I mentioned that this cove is amongst the most restrictive on the lake. I said that because anchors can't be used here and mooring boats together is prohibited. The water temperature was a chilly 60 degrees, but that didn't stop Matt from taking a dip.
A bit cold.
I think it was colder than he expected because he got out pretty quickly. After Matt got dried off, we left the cove and continued towards Ticonderoga, about 20 miles away. About 4 miles from Ticonderoga, we came to a beautiful mountain view, which is called Anthony's Nose. After a few minutes, we made it to Ticonderoga, which seems to be a nice town. It has some houses, marinas, and another boat ramp. It's a beautiful area because the water is shallow and the lake bottom is sandy in this area, so it creates a really gorgeous green tint to the water. We choose to use the boat ramp at Million Dollar Beach because this boat ramp is only accessible via back roads and it takes a really long time to get to from I-87. If you need gas before heading back to the ramp, Snug Harbor Marina is located nearby, though I don't know what their hours are. As we continued north, we passed through an extremely narrow and rocky channel. We had no issues with our WaveRunners, but I'm not sure if an actual boat could make it through here. Once you get through the channel, there's not really much more to see. The lake ends at a dam a couple miles north, but the rest of the lake is a no-wake zone, and we didn't want to waste time going up there. After turning around, we went back through the narrow channel and then headed toward the ramp, which was about 32 miles away. Along the way, we stopped at a mountainy area with a sheer rock wall. Some people were actually climbing on it. They had pulled kayaks up onto the shore and were way up on the side. When we got back to the ramp, it was crazy busy, so Matt had to wait a little while before he could back into the water. But once he did, we loaded the boats, and then we decided to take a walking tour of the town. All right, so we are done boating for the day. We've parked the car, and now we're gonna walk down to the village and grab some food and do a little sightseeing. So we just left the boat ramp and now we're walking along the main road. The views in this area are really pretty. Right now we're passing the dog swimming beach, I believe it is. Now we're walking along the main waterfront. I'm going to call this the boardwalk for lack of a better word. The town offers short-term dockage at a fee for those visiting by boat, but please note that PWCs are not allowed in this area. We were starved because we didn't bring any food with us, so we went to one of our favorite places, Paloma. They make fresh and amazing tacos and other Mexican food. The village of Lake George has a ton of shops, restaurants, and hotels, and if you're willing to drive a short distance, there's several mini golf courses and even a Six Flags. There's lots of t-shirt stores, some national chains, arcades, and a mix of national and local hotels. We saw several pizza shops, and if you're craving ice cream, Lake George has you covered. For activities, there's parasailing, cruise boats, and a whole lot more. One unique thing that Lake George offers is a dedicated beach just for dogs. How cool is that? In the summer, boat parking fills quickly, but we visited before Memorial Day, and we didn't know what to expect. We got up early to make sure we got a spot, but parking wasn't an issue. In fact, there was almost no one at the beach. We were tired, however, from the sun and wind in our faces, and decided to head home early. So we're back at the Million Dollar Beach after having some lunch and walking around and exploring the village. As you can see, Lake George is a beautiful area to visit. It's fun just to come if you want to walk around or if you have a boat and want to spend the day on the water. If you have any questions, please leave a message in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer as best I can. Thanks for watching and have a great day.